Welcome to the BillBalance video, The Basics. In this video, we'll cover the BillBalance.com basics like navigation, fields, buttons, and more. When you log into BillBalance.com, you'll see two new options on the menu bar: Profile and Balance Sheet. The profile is covered in the registration video. In this video, we're going to focus on the balance sheet. The balance sheet consists of three sections: income, expenses, and the balance. Income. The income section is at the top and allows for 5 incomes to be entered, or if more incomes are needed, the income categories can be grouped together to provide additional incomes. Expenses. The expenses are in the middle of the page and have 6 top-level categories, multiple subcategories, and numerous other categories for expenses. Balance. The balance section is at the bottom and displays the total net income, total expenses, and calculates the balance. The balance is calculated by subtracting the total expenses from the total net income. The title bar. The title bar displays your name. I'm currently logged in as Bill, and displays the current date. When editing the income and expense categories, the title bar will display your current location in the application. Fields. There are 2 types of fields in BillBalance: total and input. Total fields. Total fields display the total from a category and are not editable. You cannot directly enter a value into a total field. Instead, you must edit the category. Input. Input fields are editable and are used for naming categories and entering dollar amounts. Categories. Categories are for grouping together common information like income and expenses. Each category has its own edit button, and to edit a category, click the edit button next to the category. I'm going to change the name of the Income 1 category to Bill and save my changes. When the changes have been saved, the successfully saved message is displayed at the top of the page. Whenever an input field is changed, you must click the Save button to save your changes before navigating to another page, or the changes will be lost. Now that my changes have been saved, let's take a look at the Income 1 category, which is now named Bill. I'm going to click the Edit button next to the Bill category. On the income page, the title bar displays income to show this is an income category and displays the category name, which is now Bill. The income page also has categories: amount, taxes, benefits, and retirement. Each of these categories has 5 options for entering a dollar amount: 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, and 1 year. When entering dollar amounts, the amount should be entered into the time interval that best represents how the amount should be calculated. For example, if I'm paid twice a month, I should total my 2 paychecks together and enter them in the 1 month time interval. For BillBalance to provide the best and most accurate results, knowing which time interval to use when entering dollar amounts is very important. So we strongly recommend watching the help video titled Income Tips and Tricks, which provides very useful information on how to enter values in the income category. At the bottom of the income form, the net income, also referred to as the take-home amount, is the amount that will be displayed on the balance sheet. The net income is calculated by subtracting the total deductions from the income amount. Let's take a look at how that works. If I enter 5,000 in the 1 month field and click the calculate button, the other time interval fields are automatically calculated. And at the bottom of the form, the net income is also calculated. If you would like to know more about the calculations, the help video titled Calculations: The Math explains exactly how the calculations work. Before entering the deductions, let's take a look at the buttons on the bottom of the form. There are 5 buttons used in BillBalance: Calculate, Reset, Save, Print, and Exit. All the buttons are not used on every form, but all the buttons work the same way on every form. For example, the Calculate button works the same way on every page it is used. As we've already seen, the Calculate button calculates the fields after a dollar amount has been entered. Also, fields can be calculated by using the Tab key on your keyboard or by using your mouse and clicking in another field. I'm going to skip the Reset button for just a moment and cover the Save button first. The Save button saves all the changes on the form. You must click the Save button to save your changes. Now that the form has been successfully saved, let's go back and take a look at the Reset button. The Reset button has 2 purposes. The first is to clear the successfully saved message after the form has been saved. This is useful if you want to keep working on the form but do not want to see the message at the top. The second purpose is to restore the form values to the last time they were saved. For example, if I now enter 7,000 in the 1 month field and click Calculate, the fields have been calculated, but they are not saved. If I click the Reset button now, the values will be restored to the last time the form was saved. This is useful if you want to adjust the numbers, but you're not sure if you want to save them. The Print button allows you to print the form, assuming you have a printer, and we'll cover the Exit button in just a moment. I've already entered the income amount, now let's enter the deductions. For taxes, I'm going to enter $500 a month. For benefits like medical and dental, I'll enter $400 a month. And for retirement, I'll enter $300 a month. My total deductions are now $1,200 a month, and the net income reflects the income amount minus the total deductions. And remember, the net income is what will be displayed on the balance sheet. What's really powerful is that I can view my income in 5 different time intervals, which is key for long-term financial planning. I save my changes. And when the changes have been saved, I now click the Exit button to return to the balance sheet. Back on the balance sheet, I see that my net income values are now displayed in the fields next to my name. Also, I see my net income was added to the total net income fields at the bottom of the income section. And if I add other incomes, the other incomes would also be reflected in the total net income fields. If I scroll to the bottom, I also see the balance section displays the total net income in the balance fields. Now, to see exactly how the balance sheet works, let's add an expense to see how the expenses are calculated in the balance section. I'm going to click the Edit button next to the Home category. In the Home category, the title bar has expenses to show this is an expense category, and shows the category name, Home. Also, the Home category has 3 subcategories. The subcategories allow similar expenses to be grouped together but tracked separately. For example, if I have 2 homes, I could enter the expenses for each home separately but track them together in one category, the Home category. Now I'm going to click the Edit button to edit the Home 1 category. Since we've already covered most of the basics, all I'm going to do now is enter a mortgage payment so we can see how an expense is calculated in the balance section. For a more complete example on how to use BillBalance, please watch the How to Use BillBalance.com video. That video shows a complete example of how one couple uses BillBalance.com. For now, I'm going to enter $1,800 in the 1-month mortgage field and click Calculate. I scroll down to see my payment has been added to the total fields, and then click Save. Now that my changes are saved, I click Exit to return to the Home category. Back on the Home category page, I see my payment of $1,800 a month is reflected next to the Home 1 subcategory. Also, the payment is reflected in the total fields at the bottom of the page. Now I click Exit to return to the balance sheet. On the balance sheet, I see my total home expenses have been carried over and are now displayed in the fields next to the Home category. Also, the total expenses have been updated at the bottom of the Expenses section and in the Balance section at the bottom of the page. The Balance section also reflects the new balance. The balance has been calculated by subtracting the total expenses from the total net income. That concludes our video on the basics of BillBalance.com. Please be sure to watch the other help videos which contain even more information and other tips and tricks.